Thank you, Helena, Rohit, and Beza, for your reflections and for your thought-provoking questions. I think there's a lot for us to think about collectively, specifically, for us as an ALP, smaller supply chain team, as we take a step back and look at our strategic approach, we look at our plans and priorities for the next year. We'll all take this into account. And for all of our colleagues who are partners joining us today, if anything we've talked about has really sparked ideas for new collaboration, partnership, follow-up, please get in touch. I know because of our condensed online format, we haven't been able to have the type of side discussions that we would really want to have with you, but please let's do that as a one-on-one follow-up format. Feel free to reach out to us, to each other, because we certainly take home note is like the power and importance of partnerships for scaling, but also it's not easy, right? It's going to take a lot of concentration and careful approaches as we figure out how to do this. But thank you for staying with us, and I would like to turn it over to Glenn to share with us some reflections and closing remarks. Again, thank you for being with us today. Over to you, Alan.
No, great. Thanks, Heather, and thanks everyone who's been participating today. It's been an intense experience, but I think there's a lot of valuable lessons compressed into the content. I'm not sure if Heather mentioned anything about the evaluation form. She might have overlooked that, but so I think please fill this in, because our survival in the organization is based on the results of the evaluation. So we would request that there's a QR code and a link in the chat. Use one of those options to evaluate the event. It's actually one of our purposes as the smallholder supply chains platform to share knowledge, and we need to make sure that that knowledge is not only shared, but that people find the knowledge useful and actionable. So yeah, please do that. Right, so for today, I mean, the big theme was clearly scaling, and within that, partnerships being a key sort of way or channel to achieve scaling. We kicked off with the big AgriConnect announcement, which happened last week, and that essentially is about really ramping up our impact in agriculture, doing more and differently, overcoming some of these fragmented value chains, de-risking things, providing finance, and really transforming agriculture, which has remained, where most of the world's poor remain trapped, and has been an intractable problem over many decades. So that challenge has really risen to the forefront. I think it's clear that, at least in terms of our focus, we're well positioned to contribute to the AgriConnect initiative. And today specifically, we did cross the whole waterfront of partnerships that we as IFC have been engaged with. And just to refresh your memories, we had a big session on the World Bank, where I think that's going to really be a big channel, mainly because it opens up that public and private combination, which I think has more potential to be developed. We covered EFAD and EMEA, and then just at the end, these, I think, interesting, maybe a bit neglected private sector alliances. We had BLF, and then with ETG, this concept of the white label. And I think the key to say some of the private sector approaches is you've got this market opportunity in there that can really drive the scaling. So that's a useful complement to the other channels. But we're going to be embracing them all, so it's not one over the others. I think the other big takeaway is, of course, we're promoting ALP, but our objective is not actually to promote ALP in itself. We're trying to scale impact, and one of our defining or unique sort of selling propositions is the fact that we have a proven product that has measurable can have measurable improvements in capacity. I think it's clear that the skills gap and the transfer of skills is going to be critical for Agri Connect. And I think our use of, if you like, core business metrics is really one of the big things that we offer in this space. But it's all very well having a cool tool, but how does it get used on a large scale? That's the big challenge in front of us. So I think the other sort of nuance in that is that often, we use these terms, smallholders, agri-entrepreneurs, women, but they're not monolithic categories. And I think one of the great contributions of, say, metrics and the way we're approaching things is actually to segment those sectors and have a more nuanced and targeted approach. And I think that then enables us to really implement, I think, this concept of inclusion, and inclusion as a design principle that came up in the gender piece. I think this idea of designing intentionally, but in order to do that, you need to know about, who are the people you're designing with as well as for. So I think all in all, a great overview. It was a bit compressed, I think, as you probably noticed, but thank you for bearing with us. And I did notice Salam making that hint earlier about the annual event. So there, one of our roles in curating the knowledge and everything is to kind of keep, this is not just a one-off, it's part of a process. So I think if there are specific issues that you want to dive into deeper, this particular format wasn't ideal for that, but we are definitely willing to host or work with others to dive deeper into some of the specific issues that have come up. But finally then, if I haven't already mentioned the evaluation form, that might have slipped my mind, please call that up from the link and fill that in. And really, this is the end of day 2. This will provide us a lot of information for our plans for the coming year. So thank you to everybody who's participated through today and yesterday. I'd like to really thank our ALP team, and you can see, from the range of presentations that everybody's been involved in some way specifically. And then I should shout, call out the core team. These things don't just happen by magic. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make this happen. And so specifically to thank Heather, me, and Yemi, who really have worked on this for many, many weeks and months prior to this event. So thank you so much to them specifically. But of course, thank you to everybody, because it's really all about participation. And thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.